I'm David Shelton. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about Nordic runes from my book, Runes and Archetypes, published 2015. You can find it on Amazon.com. Either type my name in or the title, Runes and Archetypes. Okay. Just want to kind of set the tone, literally. I just think it's a nice way to kind of start things off a little. Kind of generating noise. It's nice. Anyway, so tools. As we begin today, I'll tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from. Okay, these symbols were essentially established about 2,000 years ago. They were borrowed from letters that the Romans and the Etruscans used, and they tweaked them to suit their own personal cultural needs. But what the esoteric members of the culture did was to embed their own wisdom within these runes. And you'll understand that better as I go along. But I want you to understand that the symbolism and the meaning was there before these symbols. These symbols were kind of overlaid on top of them. And so, in a way, the overlay kind of took over in the culture, and the wisdom sank deeper and deeper into the psyche. So that today, with a contemporary lens, a little open-mindedness, a little intuition, we can kind of coax out the esoteric wisdom long buried. Now, now I want to set up a little bit. There are 5 sets of runes in total that were meticulously developed over the course of several hundred years, perhaps 1,000. Many, many generations and lots of deep thought went into these. Okay, so with the help of many wonderful authors and real runologists who've done the research for me beforehand. For example, Nigel Pinnock, I'm going to give some credit, a lot of credit to him. He has done his work, he knows his stuff, and I'm kind of riding his coattails a little bit and putting a little contemporary twist on it, a little something else, that maybe we can open these up and understand them better with our contemporary minds. We're not any smarter, not any better than they were. We've just had the luxury of building on the platform that they established, the foundations they established. And over the course of the last 2,000 years or more, we have built up this understanding to where we are now. Okay, so today we're going to focus on, in this video, just the first set of 8. There are 5 sets of 8 runes. And you'll see a story develop as we get through these videos. First 8, if this even works. If this even works. I don't know if you can hear the creek running. It's wonderful. It just rained. So anyway, the first 8 are Freyja's 8. Now, Freyja is essentially a representative of the divine feminine, the long repressed divine feminine. And she is one of so many goddesses around the world that is this representation of not only Pachamama, about this divine feminine, the anima. But what also Freyja is, and this Pachamama, is the core of our personalities. I've read it described that way. The core of our personality, this archaic mind of the proto-human, of the pre-rational, proto-egoic, proto-humans, before the first ancestors even we're talking about, Neanderthals and Cro-Magnon, and even before that we're talking about like over 1 million years ago, maybe even up to 300,000 years ago. Somewhere in there is this archaic mind, deeply embedded within the core of our psyche. And if you talk about the physical aspects of the brain, this is the reptilian brain. This is the spinal nub that comes up, and the cerebellum is built on top of that, and then the cortex, the cortices, the neocortex, etc., like the slow motion nuclear explosion of mind activity. This is the archaic mind at that reptilian level, okay? This is so ancient to us, but it's still there. These are primal feelings, pre-conscious intuitions. And that's what these first 8 describe. Pre-conscious modalities. Okay, so I need to write this big so you can see it. Maybe this will work. Yes. Okay, that'll work. Okay. That is Fehu as the first primary initial look at the runes when you look at them in a linear fashion. Okay? I'm going to write Fehu. Okay. Now you can't really see that, can you? Let me try this black again. I'm just going to have to work with this more. That. You see that now. I think you can see that much better. Okay. Anyway, getting to the point. Fehu now is, and I'm not going to worry you with the sounds of the alphabet, the vocalizations. I have no idea exactly how they use this, but you get a general idea of the sound they're using through the name. Th, perhaps. Like I said, I'm not an expert in languages, okay? But you get a general idea of, like we say A, B, C, all right, alpha, beta, etc. They're using the same concept, so you can figure it out yourselves in a way what the sounds are. But we're not going to concern ourselves with that. When you lift this symbol up, this letter, you get into the esoteric, okay? And for this particular letter, Fehu translates to cattle, okay? Now, to many indigenous populations, cattle translates into wealth. The more cattle you have, the wealthier an individual you are, okay? And I may be entirely off base on all of this. I don't know, but this is the research I found, and this is what I'm getting into, okay? Now, in contemporary terms, at some point, switch over to gold. Now, gold is the great corruptor. It's not necessarily the great corruptor. It's our perspective on gold that is corrupted, okay? You go back to cattle, it's about wealth. And all of these things are archetypes, symbols, phenomenal manifestations holding a meaning that we project onto them from our subconscious minds, okay? All of these. So, I'm saying and suggesting that we have been projecting onto cattle some concept of the wealth we carry. Now it begs the question, what is the wealth that we carry in the pre-conscious mind that is worth anything. I can go down a list. Joy, compassion, love. These are all our true golden wealth that we project onto the idea of cattle. Okay? So we bring up Freyja and say a reading, and we want to get into the esoteric wisdom. That's what we talk about. The wealth we bring to the table with our lives, what we bring to the world. Joy, compassion, love, okay? And that is Freyja. Okay. Now, this is the second of the first 8 of Freyja. Urus, I think. Like I said, I don't know exactly how to pronounce these. But this is the symbol we're talking about, more or less. Actually, that might... I think that might come down. But it's in the ballpark, okay? Now, Urus is about an auroch. Now, the animal is extinct now. It has been extinct for at least 800 years. I had to look it up again. But you'll find, if you Google it, auroch, A-U-R-O-C-H. It's a very large, essentially a water buffalo. And, but it had an amazing presence about it, apparently. Now, I have to think back on this, because this, it's also a smaller, a fractalized version of the cosmic bovine. And I don't even know how to pronounce this name, the name of this cosmic bovine, but it provides the milk and sustenance that, yeah, I think, I want to say that the Milky Way is the product of, is the milk, literally, of this cosmic bovine, according to mythology. But what we're getting at is that this is the vital energy providing us life, all of the things that we need to develop to who we are. And so the vital energy is filtered through our own vital body. And it's like an interface between our inner world and the outer world. So we have this dialogue going on, okay? And that's as much as I understand about Urus. For now, it's the vital body. I wish I could tell you more right now. It's in the book. It doesn't help you much. But that's what this is. Now, I hope you can read that. That's Therisaz. It's the thorn. It literally looks like a thorn, doesn't it? I want you to imagine a rose bush, okay? Now, it has beautiful flowers on it, yes? And it has also thorns all over it. And this is, as I said before, we project onto this bush, this beautiful bush, this dangerous bush, things of our own subconscious mind. Now, to translate that in some rough way, you could say that we all put out beautiful flowers, but we also carry a lot of thorns on us, don't we? This is basically, there's a preconscious notion, things that we do before we are consciously aware of them. We divvy things into two camps: attraction and aversion, flowers and thorns. That's as simple as Thurisaz is. That's what we do. Okay? This is easy, isn't it? Now, granted, it may be an oversimplification of things, but maybe the simple solution is somewhere in the ballpark of where we need to be with this. Okay? I'm going to have to look up next symbol. It's a good thing I made a book for this. There we are. All right. It doesn't seem like you can really read that very well. I'll try to blacken it up a little bit. All right. Ansus. There we go. I think you can see it much better now. This is now. Let me process this. The symbol they use, when you peel this symbol back before 2,000 years ago, ancient, they used a cosmic mouth. Like, I'm thinking of the center of the galaxy. I'm thinking of a singularity. I'm thinking of a black hole. That to me is a cosmic mouth, okay? And so, what we're talking about, if you look at it that way, that is a disc, a super CD, mega, uber CD, containing all of the knowledge of the noumena compacted into this singularity. And as a fractal, it is the same thing as every singularity spread throughout the cosmos, throughout the universe. We, some speculate, and I buy into it, makes sense, say that we live inside of a black hole. Our entire universe is a black hole. That's amazing. Now, I'm not a physicist. I just rely on what physicists tell me. Okay? So I need you to Google, Brian Greene, Fred Kuttner, Thomas Campbell, for example, for starters, and see what they say. But that's what Ansus is. And what that means is a reflection of my projection onto that, a preconscious idea that we already have access to everything. Everything there is to know. If we can get into a meditative state regularly, we can feed back into that cosmic mouth and extract any information we need using the imagination. It's powerful. It's more powerful than any reductionist will give it credit for. Listen to your heart. Process it with your brain. You have to use both. All right, what do we got? Yeah, you can see that. I want want to mention that these are all like very angular. You have to imagine trying to carve these into trees and stone, okay? There were no circles and curves and stuff. Well, maybe some were really talented, but a majority of them you have this, okay? A very angular cut. I mean, it looks like an R. It is an R for all intents and purposes. But this particular one is Rado. Rado, to us it means road. It translates to road or path, okay? Now, getting back into nature, I want you to imagine little animal paths. None of these are straight. There is no such thing as a straight path that is natural. Not really. But as a projection of our preconscious selves. What we put onto the path is about our personal journey. We make the path. We know the path before we're consciously aware of it. And a lot of times we stray, right? Go off on tangents. We feel it makes us feel uncomfortable. We get anxious. At that point, we need to, again, practice peace, meditation, and the path will reveal itself. Again, okay? You can do this. This is Kenaz. This is, we have to imagine a medieval torch, right? Torch, big ball of fire on top. It lights the way, it lights the path, right? It's starting to push into, a little bit now, into the second set of 8, which is about our emotional body. And the magic mind, the development of the magic mind of our first ancestors approximately 300,000 years ago to approximately 33,000 years ago. I'm not an expert in that field. I just rely on what they tell me, these generalizations, and try to fit it into a format of where I'm coming from. So Kenaz, the torch, and as a projection of our preconscious thought, it is literally our preconscious thought that emerges in our mind and manifests in our brain, and starts, and then our brain takes this thought from source. Mind bells. Takes this preconscious notion that we've gathered from the noumena, and then the biology of our brain starts pulling the chemicals together that it needs to get the thought into imagery that we can understand and process in this realm, in this holographic reality we live in. Okay? That's the torch. It's that first spark, that first Zippo spark of light. Of a thought. All right, now, Gifu is straightforward as well, I think. This is about vectors crossing, right? 2 lines of energy exchanging right there where they meet. Right there where they meet, there's an exchange. Because Gifu is the gift, okay? It's about a gift. I give you this video from my heart, from my research. I want you to know this stuff. And if you discard it, that's up to you. But it might spark something in your mind to go research something and build off of this platform that I'm building off of. And so what you give me back is your time, right? Gift exchange. Giving, receiving. Now, if you write something, comments down below, I'm going to read that. Whether it's positive or negative, critical or not. That's your gift to me. I'm going to take it mindfully. Because you might know something I don't. Because I might have missed something entirely off this. It's okay. It's just my perspective. I need you to help me understand this more. Okay? But essentially, this is, you think about Christmas, all right? All the horrible gifts you got, some of the great gifts you got. When you were a kid, it was magical. Magical. I loved Christmas when I was a kid. As I got older, I'm like, this isn't for me now. This is for the nieces and nephews. They love this stuff. It's magical to them. I've gotten jaded, you know, as I'm an adult. You know, the gifts I love now. Oh, there's a cat out there looking at me. Anyway, so see, I got a little gift right there. Anyway, that's what Gifu is, the gift. Giving, receiving. For every gift you receive, it is mandatory that we give back. And on a pre-conscious level, we do. We give something back. Even if it's just paying attention, just listening. Okay? That's all it is. This is the final room of Freyja's Aett, the 8th room. And it kind of sets up a volley for us into the second set of 8, which will be the next video. But this is Wunjo, and it looks like a P. It essentially is a P for all we know. But of course they don't pronounce it that way based on the word. It has more of a W sound apparently. But when you lift up the vocalization, you lift up the letter, and you get into the symbolism more in nature, you talk about a weather vane. This is about a weather vane. And I don't know, I have memories of the old metal chicken or rooster up on top of the barn on a pole, and it turns itself into the storm, into the wind. Alright, so it directs itself automatically. It's responding to the environment around it. Now this one is so deeply interesting to me because on a pre-conscious level, we turn our psyches towards storms. We're magnets sometimes for the people that we surround ourselves with, our job, our material possessions, our personality. It's all about epigenetics in a way, okay? But on the psychic level, on the pre-conscious level, we are doing these things before we even realize we're doing, before we're consciously aware that we're doing these things. We are the weather vane, each of us, to our lives. It's a dialogue between that internal heart space, right? Heart and mind and body space, and the exterior cosmos all around us, every day, every moment. And when we go to sleep, we dream. Sometimes we meet someone on the other side. It's very strange. It's a very strange dream. Completely different topic, completely different. That's it. That's the first 8 of Freyja's 8. Pachamama. thank you all for watching. And if you're interested, I'm going to be continuing on soon with the other Aetts. Heimdall's Aett would be next. Tyr's Aett would be third. Thor's Aett is fourth. And then Odin's Aett. If you're interested, I would love it if they bought my book. Can you see on it? Good. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time.